Welcome to this first session of the first activity of environmental economics. So if you take a look at the instructions posted on layer, it says in this exercise, we will explore key economic indicators in the context of environmental economics. We'll focus on the Gini index, income distribution for the lowest 10%, and income distribution for the highest 10%, blah, blah, blah. Now, what do we mean by the Gini index? What do we mean by income distribution for the lowest 10% and highest 10%? Here it has been defined. So just read it to understand what those things mean. The next one is we are going to visualize, to plot charts. And how do you interpret Gini index? How do you interpret income distribution? And how do you interpret that? It has all been given. So what is your task? Your task is to generate charts for each of those indicators, explain what you see, and then interpret it using the ideas which have been presented here. And also go online, go on Wikipedia, go anywhere online and get ideas. So what we are going to do is to go and get our data. The data has been posted on layer. Just get it and start having fun with it. Now, where did I get the data? The data is coming from the World Bank. You have a number of data teams here. Poverty and inequality is the first one we are using, but from activity 2 we are going to be using the different indicators that fall under environment. This time I have extracted the data, cleaned it, and sent it to you. Next time we will do it together so that you know how to extract any data set you want from the World Bank, IMF, and other organizations. So let's go. Just download your data. This is the data set that has been posted to you. I've made a copy here. I'm just going to double click to open my data set, and then I'll start having fun with it. So here you have Gini index, income of the lowest 10%, income highest 10%. Now, in case you open your data set and you cannot see what is there, if it looks like this, just go between the two columns, click and hold, drag and open, and then you'll be able to see it. So in order to generate, let's start with the Gini index. Okay, this is your workbook. You have different worksheets. Now, we'll start with the first worksheet. In order to generate a pivot table and a pivot chart, click inside the table. Okay, click inside, go to insert. That's the insert ribbon. On your left, you'll find pivot table. Click on pivot table. Accept the default. Do not change anything. So if you click inside your table, it's going to give you the right thing. Now, if you click out of your table before you go and click on pivot table, you'll have problems. So it's important you really follow the instructions. Now I'll OK. And then we have a pivot table fields. Now let's construct a pivot table. The first thing to do is to click on country name, click hold, drag, and release inside column. Now go to Gini index, click, hold, drag, and release inside values. Go to year, click, hold, drag, and release where you have rows. So this is your initial pivot table, but it doesn't look right. We want to do some modifications. So when you come here, you will uncheck quarters. We don't need that. We don't need month, uncheck. We don't need year, uncheck. And just leave those. Now, if you come here where you have values, you will find it's in the form of sum. We don't want the sum, we want the average. So click on it. Go to value field settings. Choose average. Go to number format. Take number. We want it to be 2 decimal places. OK. OK. You are done with your pivot table. Now we want to generate pivot charts. Just make sure you've clicked inside of this. Make sure you are under pivot table analyze and go to your right, click on pivot chart. We want it to be a line chart. OK. You have your chart. Now just expand it. And you can see, yeah, it looks nice, but there are some adjustments we want to make. First, we want to send the legend at the bottom. So go to the design ribbon. You will only see it if this is active. If you click here, you will not see that ribbon. Make sure your chart is active. Go to design, go to add chart element on your left, look for legend and put the legend at the bottom. Here we have the legend. The next thing is you want a title for your chart. Make sure you are under design, go to add chart element, take chart title and click above chart and then give it a title. Gini index for G7 countries. Okay, it's Gini index for G7 countries or off. And you can make it bold. There we go. You can, it's up to you, make the title as nice as you want. Now the final thing we want to do is to adjust this. You see there's a lot of empty space here. We don't want that. We want to adjust it. So click here on the vertical axis, then right click on it and go to the bottom and take format axis. Once you do that, it's going to give you the possibility to format it. We want to start from 25. We want to get rid of everything till 25. So come here and you take your minimum to be 25. 25, hit enter, et voila. So let's now insert what we call a slicer. So go to pivot chart analyze, click on slicer, take country name, OK, and place it here. You have your slicer. So place it wherever you want, on your left or on your right. Why do you need a slicer? If you want to examine Canada, you just click on Canada. If you want to examine Canada and United States, you hold down Control and you click United States and you release Control. So you can see both of them. If you want to go back to the initial situation, you click on Clear Filter. There you go. So we are done with this one. What you need to do is to create a Word document. I'll open an empty Word document. Then I'm going to go on my Excel. I want to copy this. So generally, what I do is I just do a print screen. Okay, I'll do a print screen and I'll select what I want to copy. So I don't know if your computer gives you the possibility to do this. If it doesn't give you the possibility to do this, use any approach you can find on print screen. I'll do Control V to paste it there. And maybe you need to do some slight adjustments. That's all. So once I've done that, I'll come here and adjust my text. I'll choose that. And then I can write whatever blah, blah, blah I want. So that's it for the first one. The second, I'll go here. I'm done with Gini. I'll go to income lowest. I'll follow the same steps. The first thing to do is to click inside the table. Go to insert. On your left, click on pivot table. OK. Do not mess with this. Just OK. Come here where you have country. Put it where you have columns. Year. Put it where you have rows. Income L10, which is income lowest 10%. Drag it and put it where you have values. Now let's do the same adjustments. Uncheck quarters, uncheck month, uncheck year, and leave those. Now you come to sum of income. You don't want sum, you want average. Click on it. Value field. Go to average. Number format. Take number. The default is 2 decimal places. Leave it as it is. OK and OK. So you are done with your pivot table for the G7 countries. Click on it. Make sure you are under pivot table analyze and take pivot chart. You one line, you OK, and then you just increase the size so that we can see what's there. We want to put this under. So we will go to design, make sure your chart is active, go to add chart element. We want to go to legend and we put it at the bottom. We want to go to add chart element. We want to go to chart title, put it at the top and give it the right title. Now you have your chart. You can take a look. You can see that for a country like the United States, you can see that 10%, the lowest 10%, they own approximately 2% of resources. Okay, very low, 2% of resources. And in Canada, how does it look like? Where is Canada? Here we are. In Canada, it's going up. It's still bad, but it's going up. You can see in Canada, they own about 3% of resources. So the lowest 10%, they really don't own much. And which country is really doing fine? Let's see. It's strange, but it seems to be France. France, you have about 3.1%. It's still bad, but it's just showing you that in the G7 countries, the lowest 10%, they really don't own much of the resources. So we are done with this part. What all you need to do is to add the slicer. Let's click to make it active. Go to Pivot Chart Analyze. Insert slicer. Take country. Okay. We will not be using the slicer this time, but it's just for you to be familiar how to get it. And now you want to print screen, the same thing. So I'll hit print screen on my keyboard and I will take this. I'll go to Microsoft Word and I'll paste it. And if you need to do some adjustments, you can always do some adjustments to it. And we will do the last one. Finally, I'll come back here and I'll go to the highest 10%. This is exciting. If we are seeing the lowest 10%, they really own about 30% of resources. Let's see what the highest 10% own. Let's click inside of this. Go to Insert, Pivot Table, leave everything here. Okay. Take country name, put it where you have columns. Take income, H, which is highest, put it where you have values. Take year, put it here. And then uncheck quarters, uncheck month, uncheck year. The year which is up, not this one. And leave those. Now come and click on Sum. Value field settings. We want average, number. Okay. Okay. There we go. Now let's generate a chart. Click anywhere inside, go to Pivot Table Analyze, take Pivot Chart, and we want to take a line chart. Okay. Once you've done that, you want to increase the size of this. And then once that is done, you want to send this at the bottom. So go to Design. Under Design, you'll have a chart element. Look for legend, put it at the bottom. And now you want to go to add chart element, chart title, put it at the top and give it the right title. Else we will not know what it is, okay? It has to be a title talking about the income distribution of the highest 10% of the G7 countries. Now, if we want to get rid of this empty space, so we will go all the way to 20%, okay? So click on the vertical axis, right click, take format axis, and we want the minimum to be 20. Okay, now you can take a look. You can see that, for example, a country like the US, the top 10% own at least 30% of resources. 30%, that's a lot. So if they own 30%, the rest are sharing the rest. And let's see, which country is this? United Kingdom. They even owned more than 30% at this point in time in 2000, but it has gone down. Why has it gone down? So let's see, Canada, This seems to be Canada. Where are they? They own about 25% of resources. At this point in time, they owned about 26% of resources. Okay. So yeah, USA seems to be one of those countries where the top 10% own most of the resources, and the others they are not too far away. You can see the discrepancy is really significant. Okay, so that is it. Let's just add the slicer, and that will be it for this chart. I'll click on Pivot Chart Analyze, click on Insert Slicer, take country name, okay, and drag it, drop it here. And now I will do print screen. I'll hit print screen on my keyboard. Click here to increase and come here, paste it. So if you take a look at the instructions that were given, you can see what you have to submit is you need the 3 charts. That's the first thing. The second is a clear explanation of what each chart shows. So here you have to tell me what each chart, what do you see here? How do you interpret the Gini index? How do you interpret, I think this is for the lowest 10%, this is for the highest 10%. And so that's the first thing. What do you see? Then finally, give a relationship. It says a discussion on how income distribution and Gini index can affect the environment. How do your findings, what's the relationship between them and the environment? If you do that, you are good to go. You have your 2%. I think this is worth 2%. So have fun with it. If you have any challenges, just reach out to me. I hope you have fun with this and you get thinking so that when you make decisions, it's based on data.